Hi everybody, welcome. Hi Jo Beth, Deb, Abby, how you going? I have Shadow with me. Say hello. Shadow. Gonna say hello? Nope, she's just gonna ring her little bell. I had to chase her down the house because she decided that she was going to sit at the other end, and I know that halfway through she'd end up down here. So, can we hear me okay? Yes. There you go. She's saying goodbye. She's going off to do her thing. Hi Linda. Hi Janine. Guys, come in. Fantastic. I've moved a few things around and my computer is actually up on my desk now and it's a little bit noisier than I thought it would be. But you get that. Hi Amanda, welcome. Hi guys, welcome. Come in. I was waiting to hear back from Jenny to see what today's giveaway prize will be. Excuse me, I was just having a bit of a drink there. But she hasn't got back to me, so hopefully she gets back to us by halfway through. So we yeah. Can do a giveaway. Hello Helen, how are you feeling? Hi Holly, welcome guys, come in. I'm going to be colouring up some pumpkins today. I didn't get much done this week actually. Only having 3 days because I was away on the Monday. Didn't give me much time for colouring. So I only got finished one image this week. I finished off my 6th witch from Ennis's Coven event. She came up awesome. So I've got 6 more to do. This is the Oracle of the Forest. Hi Mia, welcome. Oh Helen, I hope you do feel better. The black lines, you mean on here? Depends on what type of pencils you're using. Thanks guys, I know, she came up awesome. I use Luminance for the skin and Prismacolor for the rest of the image. She came up awesome. It's all shiny. I've still got to organise a book to put them all in, but getting there. Polychromos. It should be, did you print it lighter? The easiest way, Janine, is to find it through Patreon. I've got a public post there. The links are under the video. I can give you the link for this week's colour list. Hi Linda, welcome. So that's this week's colour list. And then when you're on Patreon, underneath the, in the post, right at the bottom, there's like a whole heap of little tags. If you click on the Jenny Luan one, you'll be able to see all of the posts for this event. It is also in the group event on Facebook. You do need to be a member of my Facebook group to join the event though. So if you click on it and it says not available, it's because you're not in my group. You got tired of being called Ryan? Or L Ryan? Perfect, Linda. Perfect. Awesome, Mia. Thank you, Abby. Now printing the image, I printed it in grey scale, so light, because when I've got the image, it was in black. To help me cover those lines, I've lightened it. I can show you how I do it in Word, if anyone wants to know. I don't know how to do it any other way. But if you have Word, the program, I can show you how to do it. You could probably do it in photo editing apps or programs as well, just changing the colour. But yeah, because the lines were actually solid black in the image, so I've just changed that to grey. I'm just spamming Jenny to see if she can pop on. I can't actually see my chat box properly. Let me just move some things here. As I said, I've just moved my desk around, changed it all up a bit, and just sort of figuring out where things should be going, I guess, is what I'm doing. Okay. Oh no, Helen. Hi Isabel, welcome. Welcome, lovely people. So, I've been busy, even though I did only get a chance to colour, well, actually the two images, Christine Karen Witch and also the lovely Annis Witch here. And I've actually been organising artists for next year already. I can't believe that I'm writing letters to artists about 2020. And I've managed to book in, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 artists have already confirmed, including the lovely Christine Karen, Yana Prosperina, Colour and Chicks, Annis, Nell, I should say, Lisa Matrokin. Also Laura Rafferty. I've asked a couple of others that haven't confirmed, and I've still got some spots to fill, so I think I've still got about 3 to contact yet. So, but yeah, I've had a busy time organising that, so we've got a nice calendar for next year. Oh, Helen, thank you. Hope it does make you feel better. I was already over that side. You could have come to Ballarat. I was there for 2 days. I didn't want to go anywhere because I don't know the area, so it's hard for me. Oh, Jenny, hello. We if you could send me a message on what image that we'll be giving away today, that would be awesome. So I can, yeah. What do you mean, where am I now? I'm here. I'm right here. Yeah, this is me. Hi. Hello, this is me. Can you still see me? I think I'm a bit of a hermit and I don't go anywhere very much. So even though I went to Ballarat, I didn't leave the hotel room. Anyway. Really? Hi. Hi. Are you deciding to say hello now? Oh. Well, you're a bit noisy. Hi. Say hello to everybody. Say hello. Say hello. Oh, good girl. Yeah, I'm not traveling. No way. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Grumpy cat. Now she's sitting right in front of my mic, so you can probably hear her purring now too. No worries, as long as you let us know the giveaway prize image so that I can do that as well. Please, Jenny, tell me that. And then if you aren't here, we still can get that done. Oh, my chair. I need to get a new chair. That's next on my list. There's always something new. There's always something. All right, we're going to colour in some pumpkins today. Did you see the event image? Let's have a look. There it is. There's my rough sketched up one ready to go. So that's what we're going to try to achieve today. We're going to add in the devil costume, the horns and the trident, and also the cat's eyes, and then we're going to finish off these pumpkins and get them done. They look kind of cute. Speaking of pumpkins, she purring, can you hear her? Tiffany, hello. Oh, she's very cute. Loud. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try to do those pumpkins. And, yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun. They are pretty cool. Speaking of cool pumpkins, that's what I was going to say. Have you guys seen Lisa Matrokin's new video out? She actually just did a video on pumpkins. Now, hers came out really cool, and I'm actually going to give hers a go because she's got a really cool prize for the winner of that event that she's got going on. So I'm actually going to colour her pumpkins as well. They look really cool. I can't next Sunday. Next Sunday is Alicia's calisthenics concert on the Sunday, and also next Sunday is the colour along event, or the colour, hang on, what are they called again? Colour streamathon. No, colorathon. Yes, that's what they're called, the spooky one. So I'm actually already streaming. I think I'm streaming on, I don't know if I'm actually streaming it during the weekend. I don't know if I said I would or not, but yeah, it's concert day. Alright, Jenny's just sending me a message now, so I'm just waiting on it. Colorathon. Yeah, it's the spooky one over the weekend. I don't know if I actually put my name down for any of it. I think I'm just doing, I think I'm last actually. I'm last on the list, which is my normal stream time. That makes sense. I am? Thanks, Star. I thought I was. Oh, this is cute, Jenny. Very cute. Oh, I like it. Perfect. Perfect, Jenny. Thank you. All right, I'll show you guys now as well. Jenny's just sent me the giveaway image, and hang on, I'm just trying to open it here. Excuse me. It's in a PDF, so or some sort of file. PDF, so I'll just have to show you on my phone. So we're giving away one copy of this today, and it's exclusive because, well, it's new and it hasn't been come out yet, so another new one. Isn't she cute? I think she's so cute. So this will be today's giveaway. Of course I do, Linda. Stop that. So this will be today's giveaway prize. So we'll do that halfway through, and I've also got a flip through today. I organised one. We're going to do a flip through of Jenny's Animal Doodle colouring book. I can't remember what it's called. Hang on. Let me go find it. Animal Doodle Wildlife Colouring Book. So we're going to do a flip through of that. But this one's for the winner. So, yeah, very cute. Thank you, Jen. It's beautiful. It is, it is, it is. So I was thinking we might have to add Jenny to the colour along calendar next year as well. So I'll be in contact with you, and we'll try and figure out if there's a month that is left for you. Yay! Alright, so today we're going to be using a couple of colours, not many. I've got black. This time I've picked ivory black because I want to cover and add in a lot of deep black. I've got some burnt sienna. I'll probably say that wrong by the end of the day. I got vermilion. I have flame red. Hi, Sammy. I have orange and yellow. So also I've got news next week. After the colour-along event, colour-a-thon event, on the Tuesday, which will be the last Tuesday of the month, I will be having the lovely Sammy and May and Laura Rafferty as guest colorists. We're going to have a spooky event. We're going to dress up. I'm also going to be using scarlet, some yellow green, and some spring green. So that's going to be fun. I'm not sure what colouring page we'll be doing yet, but we're going to have some fun, and I'm really excited about it. In fact, so excited that I might be paying someone to do my costume for me. Because I want to dress up. I think it'll be fun. It will be. So witchy themed hands, and you'll see. It'll be very exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. But it will be early for our lovely US buddies. I'm sorry. And it will be probably, I don't know, mid-morning for you guys over there, Sammy. And it will be evening here in Australia. So, yeah, like the normal times that we've been doing when we do our special ones. So it's been great doing these little guest videos. A lot of fun. It might be earlier, Helen, because of daylight savings. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It'll be fun. We're looking forward to being together and having a laugh. Hopefully, the lovely Laura will actually talk with us, and we won't have as much laughter. But look, I can't guarantee you anything. I think it's just going to be fun. Fun, fun, fun. Hello, Abby, and who else came in before? I think I said hi to Tiffany, Star. Welcome, guys. Yeah, we just had daylight savings here, so the times will be slightly different. So shall we get started? Because we've got a fair bit to do today. Yeah, I think we should. Okay. I'm going to use ivory black first. 4 a.m. Gosh, it's so early. It'll be so much fun though. Won't it? I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of a shadow underneath this pumpkin leaf. Just going to redefine it because I needed a tiny little bit of shading under there. Oh, I just broke my pencil. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? It's just something new? No, it's just something old. But we're going to have a witchy theme or Halloween themed chat. So yeah, we might have to find a spooky something Halloweeny to colour. If anyone's got any ideas. That's right, Sammy, it is. It's just a bit of a chat and a bit of a monthly release. A bit of a laugh. Hopefully it gives everyone a bit of a giggle. just going down these pumpkin, I don't know, what are these called? To find that out. Pumpkin creases, we'll call them. Need my brush. I think I might put my glove on too because I'm kind of rubbing over areas today. That sounded good. Oh dear me. If you can't laugh, we'll go crazy. Alright? Right. So I'm doing kind of a heavier pressure in the crease area, and then I'm just lightening up the pencil pressure as I come out. So we're going to create a little bit of depth. Let's just add a little bit of a shadow around the kitty here as well. Speaking of kitty, I can hear her bell rattling again. She's going to come back, I think. She's been driving me crazy today. She's meowing all morning. Pay attention to me. She is, oh, poor Tilly. Nani is a rat bag. She is getting into loads of mischief. She yells at us all the time. She's actually a lot like Shadow. It's funny how we attract certain personalities in animals. And Shadow, stop that. And they just like to argue with us. More than one boss in... Don't say no to me. More than one boss in this house, that's for sure. Hmm? There you go. She said that the gate wasn't open, so she couldn't get out. Hi, Brittany. Welcome. She's feeling really opinionated today, guys. Very opinionated. I'm just doing a few layers in the very depths of the creases, and then I'm just lightening up that pressure and bringing it out further. Yeah. I think that's his neck in there, so I just want to colour around the bow. You're not going out there, Shadow. Nani's out there. She'll eat you. No, she wouldn't really. She'd just play with her to death. Yes, she would. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Come in. Settle down. Have a cuppa. Or do your housework and listen in. I don't know. Either's fine. Make it fairly dark down here. Around our little rocks. So, I didn't get to finish my watercolour that I started. I will finish it because it is for an event in Linda Ravenscroft's group, but I did get a little bit more done. He came up pretty cool. Oh dear, I lost my book. I managed to finish the Merlin in the middle. He came up awesome. So I've just got to finish off the outside and then I can post it up in the group. Came up awesome, didn't he? So yeah, but why is this? It seems like I didn't have a whole week this week. I think just because I was away, feels like time just got away from me or something. Don't know. I don't like it though. It's not nice. It's not nice. It's hard, isn't it? And that's part of the reason I don't go anywhere either. I just you know, sometimes just hurt so much you just don't want to go out or attempt to go out because you know that it's just not going to settle. It's part of the reason why I don't drive places. Just because I drive, I get sore, and then I can't move. So if I just stay home, it's not quite so bad. At least I can work. Just adding in some depth around the trident. Doing a firm line around it to bring it up off the pumpkin a bit too, and we'll colour this in with red and black so it doesn't blend in with the pumpkin too much. Yeah, Sammy, I used the Cotman watercolour set for that. I started it on Monday live and didn't get to finish it, unfortunately. So, I'm not sure whether to finish it this Monday or I think I might start something new. I like to start something new. I'll probably finish it on the weekend. I have a new Patreon video coming out tomorrow, hopefully. I think I've showed you guys that image actually, the Mariola Butic one. I think it's Erythral or Ethereal Night or something, I don't know. Something like that. I haven't done very many public videos, I just haven't had time. So it's been live. Live. I have a paint by numbers video here, half done, which will bring some new insight to paint by numbers and the company that I'm promoting, so that will be good. Just being a little bit more careful just around these smaller areas, and I'm just kind of filling in a bit of black in here because I want it fairly dark in those sections. Now this is the back of the pumpkin here, so I'll do it dark in there behind him and light there. Need a tiny little bit just there. Just lightening that pressure up. You're a number 2, are you? Well, let me see. Let me just grab my big pile of images that I've done recently. So many. We have this beautiful lady, which was Wicked, her name was. And then we had the Season of the Witch. And then we've got the Black Sabbath, I think this one was called. And the Halloween Tea Party. So how many is that? 4. Black Crystal Witch is 5. And the Oracle of the Forest is 6. So 6 witchy poos. And then obviously I did Christine Karen's Halloween Tea Party, and the other witch that I've done just recently too was the Nathaniel Wake one with the Copics and chameleon pens. So I've done a few witches this month. Witchy poos. Now where is my Mariola Budic one? And this is the one that I'm releasing for patrons tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. I've still got to do the colour list yet, so excuse all the outside parts, it hasn't been cropped off yet, and also the camera doesn't do it justice, so but yeah, I can find the scan up because it's a lot better and you can see it a lot nicer. I've had this one sitting here for quite some time actually. Here she is. There she is. She's got a bit of splatter on her. So yeah, and that was done with Tombow markers, this one. And a little bit of white acrylic paint. So I've got a tutorial of this one, which will be coming out hopefully tomorrow or Sunday. I've still got the colour list to do, so yeah. Cool, huh? So yeah, I've just got, I haven't printed out all of them yet. I've still got the little apprentice which to print. I've got the one from the Colouring Heaven mag, Liz the Good Witch. I think this one's called Hecate. I don't know how to pronounce it. Little Grey Witch and the Moon Witch, maybe. So they're the ones I've got to do. I did purchase the Apprentice Witch. I just have to print her out now. So I have had a busy month this month, I must admit. Oh look, I've just smudged all this black out. I knew that was going to happen. Oh well. Oh, well. It happens. Well, Anna's just released a Patreon only image too, the Wicked Witch. Yeah, she's awesome actually. Would you like to see her if you haven't seen her already? I'm pretty sure I have her original of it. It's a new Patreon only image, and she just released a colouring page yesterday of her. This is her coloured version of it. She's awesome. So she's a new one, and also she just released Love Letter as well, which is a new one. So she's had a few new ones coming out. That one is so cool. I love her. So she's it's her version of the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz. So she's awesome too. She also has the one in her Etsy shop, which is the Love Letter one as well. So that's new. I know, it's cool, isn't it? The new one is called Love Letters, I think. And that one's the Wicked Witch. And so the Wicked Witch I just showed, she's only on Patreon. And the other one is, good question. Okay, just got her Etsy shop up now. There she is. New one is called Love Letter or Cursed Letter. That's it there. It's pretty cute, isn't it? She's awesome. And the other one was Wicked Witch. I know, she's just awesome. Hello, Kenny. Welcome. Yeah, Cursed Letters or Love Letter. She couldn't decide. Hi, Kelly. Welcome. Hi, Karen. How are you? Welcome. It's funny how I noticed it a lot with artists that they go through creative, I don't know, flares, and a whole heap of good stuff comes out and all at once. It's so hard to keep track of. I know Christine Karen had a really good burst over the last few months. She's done heaps of awesome images. And Ennis is another one. She's had a few good ones come out. Laura had a couple of really nice ones come out too recently. Really nice. It is, Sammy. I actually want to put mine into a book, so I'm going to source out some sort of scrapbook, actually, and or make my own. I could probably make my own, actually. And yeah, make it look like a, I don't know, a witch directory. I think that would be fun. A little bit of a crafty project. I'm liking crafty projects. I actually have some old leather here. Some leather I brought when I was making my mermaid art journal, because I wasn't sure what cover I was going to put on it. So yeah, I could make up a leather bound book, make it look kind of dirty looking and spooky, I guess. Sounds like a bit of fun. Maybe we could do that on Monday. Maybe I could start that. That would be fun. It's not really colouring, but it's crafty. Crafty, crafty. It's all good. It's all good, Sammy. It's all good. I love it. Oh, I know. And actually, I've messaged Isabella or Rosa Wanna Mama, whatever her name is, about doing a colour along next year as well. I haven't heard back from her yet. And Yana has some amazing witches. She's also on my list for next year again. I've also contacted Eva Nakunin, and oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Oh gosh, guys, did you see my subscriber count? How cool, I'm so close. I've got like 90 people to go roughly till 5,000. Woohoo! So very exciting. So last Christmas I celebrated 3,000 subs. This Christmas it'll be 5,000. Let's hope next year, next Christmas, we get 10,000. That would be awesome. My ultimate goal when I first started doing YouTube was 10,000. That's my ultimate goal. Like, I've had these mini goals, and 10,000 subs was my biggest goal. And once I get to that, I can make a new goal. And 1,000 Patreon subscribers was my other one, and I think I'm only like 10% on that one. But you know what? It's fine. It's doing really well. I never actually thought it would be as good as it's come anyway. But if you don't make those goals, then they won't happen, right? Make goals. They're good. Goals are good. Look what you can achieve when you have a goal. Oh gosh, he's so grumpy looking, isn't he? Grrr. Alright. I know, Kenny. It's awesome. Yeah, it took me... I don't even know how long it's been now. When did I do my very first video? Gosh, time flies. I did my first video. Let's have a look. My first official video. I'm not going to go with the unofficial video, but the first one was 2 years ago, it says here. So, stop playing. I just want to go into the video. Alright, the date was 14th of August 2017. So I did take a year. I got 3,000 in a year because I celebrated 3,000 subscribers last Christmas, and then yeah, 2,000 this year. It's pretty awesome. Lots of hard work, people. Hard work with not much to show. But it's been well worth it. Alright, let's move on to the next colour. Actually, before we move on to the next colour, let's move on to the next colour. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, guys. Alright, I've got yellow. We want to extend the yellow on the outside of the glowing part, so I'm just going to come out. Doesn't really matter how far I come out because we're going to put colour over the top of it anyway. I just want to come out and around these glowing sections. Get our glow on. Just using light pressure to start with. I just want to mark out these areas so we don't go into them too much. Oh, that's so frustrating. I need an eraser. Let me have a look. I've got this fancy peel off magic eraser. It's pretty cool. Just gonna erase some of that smudged black so that I can add some colour in there. So my glove didn't help, it smudged anyway. Go back to my yellow. You know, I always love with colouring how it looks so messy at some stages, and then it just sort of forms this picture. It's the best part about doing the speed colourings actually for me. I like to sit and watch them come together. It's probably my favourite part. Watching it going, what? What? Alright, so I've got burnt sienna. I did use my brush. Burnt sienna. That's right. Labour of love. Thank you, Karen. Hi, Cassandra. I always say quality over quantity. That's right. I know, and it goes up and down, and I quite often get like comments like, sub to me, I sub to you. It's like, yep, nah, because they're just there because they just want more subs, so you know that they're not gonna hang around. That's fine. Coming over the top with the burnt sienna and going in firmer in that darker area, and then I'm just going to lighten my pressure up as I come further out. Oh, thanks, Charlotte. What did you say, Kenny? I missed that. Yeah. Oh dear. I've learnt so much myself from doing this, actually. I think I've always wanted to be some sort of teacher, you know. I did nail technology and business, and I taught a business class for a little bit, but I don't know. To teach nail technology, it never kind of panned out. Did a part of childcare, never really panned out because I have my own. Changes once you've had your own. There's a few things that I was going to do, and this is pretty close to all of the things that I wanted to do, but I don't know, it's way easier for me. Even though it's hard work, it's easy for me. It's easier than going to work. It's easier than being a responsible adult. Because that's kind of what it feels like sometimes when you do YouTube. People like look at you like you're a child. What are you talking about? You know? It's like they look at you like, is that a legit job or are you just like a slacker? Exactly. Teacher now. My biggest thing that I've learned over the years is that you shouldn't let other people decide for you what you're going to do. Good or bad. So if anyone ever says to you you can't do something, and just don't listen to them. Unless it's illegal, of course. But you know, if you've got a dream and somebody says, oh no, you couldn't do that, you're not good enough for that, then don't trust it. It's not true. Actually, one thing I used to hate being told was to be quiet. So you know what? I don't have to be quiet on here. I can do what I want. I can be loud, I can laugh, I can have a bit of fun, I can say stupid things. And yeah, I can be myself. Looking good. Looking good. Hi Rochelle, welcome. Yeah, Holly, I agree. That's part of the reason why I stopped. I was like, nah, can't do that. It's just too much. My mum did childcare for quite a long time, and my auntie and my cousins, a couple of cousins work in childcare as well. And they don't get paid enough, in my opinion. They're used and abused. Childcare workers. I think I've made this a little bit darker than my my tryout one. Oops, doesn't matter. He'll come out awesome regardless. See, I'm still smudging even though I'm wearing my glove. Careful of that smudginess. To help stop that, the Caran d'Ache Full Blender is awesome because it lays a layer of wax over the top of it. It just helps to stop it from smudging out everywhere. Did you know that? It's pretty awesome stuff actually. What is the time? Ooh, nearly time for a giveaway. May! Hello! I was telling everyone earlier that we're going to be having a spooky 4-way live video. We're very excited to see what we dress up like. It's very exciting. I'm most excited to see what happens with May, what May does. She always seems to make it interesting, to say the least. Their bikey gloves and huge mittens, and she's loads of fun. Yeah, you have to dress up. We don't want to know that it's you. We don't want to be able to recognize you. Or your hands anyway. Oh, by the way, if you have a slight stomach and you don't like blood and gore, then there may be some, so not real, of course, but just a warning. Fair warning. Alright, I think I've done enough of the brown. Let's go to orange. Belinda, which pencils do you like the best? Pablo or Luminance? Not an easy question. I think Pablo's are more versatile because of their colour range and just what they are. Luminance are beautiful. How do I like I did the skin with this with this beauty here. She was done with Luminance for the skin. I love them. You've got to have the right type of paper for them, I think, and they're expensive, obviously. I think the Pablos are a little bit more. This is orange I'm using next. Actually, before we start, we probably should do some giveaway rules and stuff too. So they're both different. It's really hard to pick. I couldn't pick one. I like them both, but I would say the Pablos are more versatile. Yeah, I hope that helps. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 colours in the Luminance. Oh, good on me. I'm supposed to be coming over here. I'm just going to fill in the gap with the orange. Yeah, I got a new, I sorted out my desk. I got a new, I've had this marker rack. Lovely lady at the art shop kept it for me. She was going to use it in her studio and it was too big for what she wanted, so she offered for me to have it. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll grab it. And it's been sitting at my front door literally for like, I don't know, 3 months since I got it. And finally on Tuesday after my stream, that's what I've been busy doing this week. Duh, I knew there was something. I moved everything. I changed desks. I've got a longer, skinnier desk now. And put all of my markers, refills, Tombow markers, the Royal Talon markers, my Poscas, my Luminance pencils, all of my pens, everything fits in this thing. It's huge. Hi Victoria, welcome. Hi Bev, welcome. Yeah, Lumies are good for skin. They're both soft. Karen, the Luminance are like a fat version of Prismacolor, so they're waxy. Some of them aren't. Some of them are a little bit drier, but most of them are kind of waxy looking, and you can, move pigment around because they're waxy. Pablos are a little bit less. They're more like, they're softer than Polychromos, but they're harder than Prismacolor. Lumies are very soft. They go very soft. I can show you the let me just move my camera, guys. Sorry if I make you dizzy. Excuse my mess everywhere. Here is my setup. Oh, I'm a bit wobbly. So I've got all of my refills, and there's gaps for ones I don't have. All of my Copics, all of my Tombows, and all of my bits and pieces. There's my screen. Oh, hello everybody. Look. And my computer's just over here next to me as well, so. Pop that back into place. There we go. So yeah, it's awesome. I can reach pretty much everything now. I've also got a great big drawer, I probably should have showed you that too, next to me, which has got a filing cabinet full of pencils and other bits and pieces, so that's cool. The other side I've got all my watercolors and my acrylics, my pastels. I can pretty much reach everything from where I'm sitting. The only thing that's sort of on my other desk now is brushes and accessories and things like that. So yes, I've been busy organising. Got to be organised. Otherwise I couldn't do anything. And we did it all in an afternoon, and hubby and I were extremely exhausted afterwards. And at one stage we didn't think it was going to work. We had to put a bit of an extension on the back of the desk because it wasn't quite wide enough. Yeah, it was a bit of fun, of yelling and telling each other off, of course, because that's what you do when you're in love. It was fun. It was fun. I can show you on camera the difference between them too if you'd like. Since I've got my Pablos out and my Lumies are just there. Let's use Scarlet, because there's a Scarlet here and a Scarlet here. I'm going to zoom in. This is the Scarlet in Luminance. So the lead's quite thick. And greeny, and it's waxy. So if I was to add a really thick layer, if I was to add, say, white into it, we can blend it because it's waxy and it sort of blends in together. You can sort of smudge it all in together. And as you can see, it's waxy. So it's really thick, and you eat through them really quickly. My Luminance white pencils disappear really quickly, but whereas the Pablos, the colour's not quite the same. The lead's a lot thinner. It's not as grainy, but it's not as thick either. I think they're more, I think there is the polys, I think they're oil and wax based, aren't they? Or is that Holben's? Not sure. Let's say I use a little bit of Prismacolor. It's not quite as good with blending as the Lumies. Colour's heaps richer with the Lumies. I actually find that Pablos don't have, like, these are their darker colours, and I don't think they are extremely rich anyway. And now my white Lumies all red. I got a red one, but you can mix them together. That's the best thing. I like mixing them. Yeah, they need more colours, exactly. I have the Lumies, let me just grab my colour list here, because Linda lent me them to have a play with, and I filled them out. I filled a colour list out, and they have really nice vibrant colours, but not enough. Really pretty. Some of them are kind of, I had trouble with, like they're a little bit, I don't know, especially this Castell Earth. It was really, it's like charcoal, the pencil. It's really dry, and it just doesn't lay down very well at all on different types of paper. So this is excuse me, Nina Classic Crest paper. If I was to do that on this paper though, it's slightly different. It depends on what kind of paper. See, it's a lot thicker, darker, but it's really dry. It's like charcoal. Comes out really powdery. So yeah, some colors aren't as nice, but that's because of the different pigments and things like that as well. Yeah. But yeah, not enough colors. If they had a larger range, I'd be like, yep. Although it costs so much to replace one pencil. It cost me $4 a Lumi here. It's so much. That's orange. I know, they are very rich. Like, look at these, look at them. I've got crimson or alizarin here. I've got that one, but that crimson aubergine. I've got ultramarine violet and manganese violet. They're pretty colors. This is beautiful, this ice blue. Nice dark sap green. The good thing is that because they are wax based too, you can blend and mix a lot. I love russet, that's one of my favorites. You can mix them together to create colors as well. You can. And they work really well with other brands. So you can mix Prismas with Lumis or Polys with Lumi. You can mix them. It doesn't really matter. You can mix and blend them together. So Sammy, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I'm so looking forward to look forward to seeing your dad and your granddad. How exciting. I look forward to hanging out with you in a week or so. A week and a bit? Yeah. Exciting. Nighty-night. Alright, what we might do is we'll do the giveaway rules and we'll do a giveaway and a flip through. I'll do the flip through first because I think you'll like this. It's very cute. Let's do the flip through first and then we'll come back and do the giveaway. Alright. So this is a cute little Animal Doodle wildlife colouring book. This one. This is the digital copy. You can also get it in PDF, which I'm using the digital one, and you can also get it in a physical book on Amazon as well. So this is for the Etsy one and this is for the Amazon one. I'm just popping those links in the chat, so check them out there. Let's do the flip through. Okay. I just had a snack quickly. I was getting a bit dizzy. I'm so sorry about the music. I didn't mean it to be that loud. I did turn it down before the start, but obviously it wasn't quite down enough. Hi Elaine, welcome. So we're going to do the giveaway rules and then we're going to do the giveaway. So we're giving away that cute little image. So a digital version of this cute little image by Jenny. It is new, only a couple of her team colorists have it, and she's giving that away. So, to the winner of today's giveaway. They're going to look cool. This is what they're going to look like. Fingers crossed I can repeat the process and they're going to look like this. So yeah, let's do the giveaway rules. Hi Sue, welcome. All right, here we go. Pick one number for one person. One number per person between 1 and 100. Only one number, remember? Okay. First person to call that number owns that number. No chatting during number calling until winning number is drawn. No numbers before the words go, go, go or after stop, stop, stop will be counted. I do write it in the chat box, so make sure that you're on live chat. Not top chat. The number closest to the generated number without going over it wins. If there is no number, obviously we'll redraw it. Make sure you're on top chat and not... Make sure you're on live chat and not top chat. So change it to live chat. We don't want top chat parties. Any giveaway or promotion is in no way sponsored, endorsed or administered by or associated with YouTube, Facebook, Instagram or Jenny Luan. Yay! Stop top chat partying, you. So is everyone ready? Let's hear some readies. We are ready. Those that have already won a prize from Jenny Luan, please refrain from entering this giveaway. Alright, I'm just getting my timer out. And, oops, you're oopsing. Awesome. Alright, here we go. I've written it. Go, go, go. Did you get yours, Abby? Yeah, you can tell me after. It's got this, I love this new timer. It's cool. It's counting down. Obviously, we're, I'm like miles behind you guys. That's why we do it in the chat. I'm using Vermilion next, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm coming over all of the colour. Coming out past the burnt sienna and just a little bit into the orange. So over the dark and coming a little bit into the orange. Just like that. Time's a flying. Alright, my alarm's about to go off, so looking good. You've got like a couple of seconds. Probably not by the time I say this, but you know. We'll like that. Probably not from by the time I say this. Here we go. Perfect. Alright guys, let's go to random.org. Random.org. True random number generator. Are you ready? Here we go. Generate. Ooh, number 54. 54. Let's see who won. Alright. Victoria was very close there, I think. Oh, hang on, wait. Bev! You actually got 54. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Congratulations! Alright, Bev, I don't know if I've got your details, so I'm going to send you my email address here up on the screen, so check that chat box and send me an email, and I will be able to get you the image. Congratulations! Yes, I didn't see, yes, you did have that, that's right, but she had, I think you are the next below there. Awesome, Bev, congratulations. Congratulations. Very exciting. It's a cute page too. Very cute page. Oh, I just went over the cat bow. Oopsies. Let's just come over that orange a little bit there as well. Going over all of the dark areas and a little bit into this orange. We've still got a lot of layers to do, so again, I'm using the Strathmore mixed media vellum surface paper. I've got a link for that too if you'd like to check that out. I actually really like it. I've used it for all of my witches so far. It's been great with everything, in fact. I did have a little bit more of a struggle with, so that was Lumies and Prismas. They worked well on it. That's all marker. The marker kind of goes a little bit like greeny looking because there's like speckles in the paper, but it's actually alright. It's not too bad. It was a little bit rougher, so the markers don't glide on the paper as much, but all of these had, this is watercolor. It works pretty good. It did get a bit bumpy, but everything I've used on it so far has been fine so far. So pretty cool paper. I got it in a book of 40, I think, the spiral bound book, and I've just been pulling out the pages and sticking them in my printer. But I think you can get different sizes anyway. But it does take a few layers of pencils, which is good. Pardon me. And the pencils I'm using are Pablo's. I've got a link for that too. I've got links in the description below as well. I think the only thing I didn't have links in the description for was Jenny's books that I just did the flip through of. But if you would like to get the image still, it's going to be available till the end of the month here. So I'm popping the link up in the chat box there. And also the colour list is available on Patreon or in the Facebook group. So I'm going to check those out. vermilion is like an orange-red colour. I really like the museum pencils, the vermilion in that. It's really pretty. It's kind of a pinky orange colour. It's really nice. Oh, I forgot to do his teeth. Good on me. Missed an area. Oh, thanks, Bev. No, I know. No worries, Kenny. All good. I hope my lovely Helen is going okay. I know she wasn't feeling well before. I actually got a bit of an earache. And I'm not sure. I think it might just be allergies. We're having trouble here. It's spring and everything's out. And it's so weird. When I was in Ballarat, I didn't have an allergy tablet once, and I didn't even have to have my asthma medication. And then I come back to Melbourne and cross this side to the southeastern side, and I start coughing and sneezing and obviously there's something I'm allergic to. In our estate, there's these flowers. They're bulbs, and they're white flowers. I don't know what they are, but they were in every single garden. It's like the builders or the landscapers, when they built this estate, all, you know, it was like a bulk buy. And they were horrible. We had to pull them all out, but they're still in some of the gardens around. Just not nice at all. And then every house they've planted like a tree in front of, which also flowers. And we have two for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but we have two. We think that before we moved in, the house was already 2 years old. We think that the neighbours moved their tree onto our lawn to make it look like it was even, I guess. So now we have two trees. And they flower. White flowers. It also attracts spiders too. Yeah. Oh, Helen, get better and have plenty of rest. Plenty of rest, my darling. Alright. How's he looking? You need some more vermilion in the middle here. He's looking a bit rough. He's getting there though. Gradually. let's move on to flame red. You would think that flame red would be darker than vermilion, but it's not. I'm making sure that the tooth's flattened out now in the dark areas. Going all the way out to this yellow area now. Just lightly over those areas and dark in the darker areas. I need to finish off my teeth before I move any further. Let's just add some black in here. And then some burnt sienna. And then some vermilion. And what's next? Vermilion, then flame red. Bit of orange. And yellow. Make it glow. Teeth are done. A bit more black. Once you put the yellow over the top, it seems to lighten everything, so just add a little bit more black in there. And a little bit more of the burnt sienna. There's less fussing around with the other pumpkins because it's not face on, so we only really need to do the darker colours and not worry about the glow part of it. Alright, so back in with the flame red. Just making sure all the tooth is flat now, and I'm coming right to the very edge of the lightest colour there. The yellow. Should still be some orange and some yellow showing. Bye, Charlotte. You're right, Sparkle, he is. May. What are you colouring, May? I heard someone was colouring some Tim Jeffs there. Okay, now I'm looking at this. I think he needs a little bit of burnt sienna in his eye here. Just a little bit. Back over with the vermilion again. And then the flame red. That's better. 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 I'm trying to save a guy. Oh no. Oh no. Hi Freedom, welcome. May. I'm sure you will make it look awesome. So what spooky page should we do for our challenge? I think we should do a witch, or because we're kind of theming it on that, I think we should do a witch of some sort. You know what? In do you guys have Hidden Paradise? Hidden Paradise has got by Chris Lopez, has a spooky witch in it. She's cool. I love her creases. Do you have Chris Lopez? May? I don't know, Laura didn't drop in today, so. To ask Laura. Starting to smooth out now. He's a bit rough, but pumpkins aren't, you know, they're smooth, but I don't know, not that smooth. I'm smoother. Yes, have you done the witch? I'm pretty sure it's Hidden Paradise. Now I'm saying that might not be. To go grab it out and have a look. Bit of burnt sienna again. Some vermilion. Some lime red. Now we're getting some dust. So we've got one more week after this. Gosh, this month has flown. Karen, thank you. May. You're funny. She looks like your mother, does she? No, it's in here somewhere. Is it at the back? I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. No, that's not the one. That's the Pan's Labyrinth one, that one. I'm looking. I'm gonna find it. This lady. Alright, going back into orange now. Actually, before I do orange, I'm going to make the yellow a little bit darker around the very edges. Don't want to put too much up there because that's where it'll be whiter light because of the moon. And now orange. Orange. May's favourite colour. And I'm just coming out and I'm kind of covering over a little bit of everything. I want to add a bit of this lighter orange to all of the dark areas as well as the lighter areas. Hi Dawn! Oh mate. I think we found out that May secretly does like orange. She ended up with so many orange things in that challenge. Oh, he's looking cool. He is, he is, he is. Except my hands are getting sore because I've been silly and used Faber pressure. All good. One pumpkin done. It's beautiful and sunny here. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Rochelle, there's the video is still there. The background video. All of these videos are in a playlist, so you can go back and check them out. Also, I've done a galaxy background on Patreon as well, in a more in-depth one, with markers and with pencils. Just going back in with black to re-darken those shadows. A little bit more depth in there. Also, we added some of the lighter colours in here, so I just want to deepen those up a bit more. Alright, and coming down underneath the trident thing he's holding, a pitchfork, whatever it is. There's actually something on the page here, it's like glue or something. Oh well. You get that. A little bit more of the burnt sienna. Page is also smooth now. If you want, you can use the full blender and get rid of some of the excuse me, snipping away there. Bring on the hay fever. Make it kind of look spooky looking. Anyway, I'm happy with him. He looks pretty cool. Just thought I'd cover over it a bit with the full blender. It will help stop the pencil from smudging too much. Got a little bit still, but it's pretty good. He's awesome. Alright, let's do the other ones in a moment. We'll start with the trident, or pitchfork I should say, and the horns. I'm going to put some black down on this edge here and across the bottom there. Black I'm going to put here, here, across the bottom of this headband, across the bottom of the pitchfork, and then I've got scarlet, which we were using down there to have a play with, just to blend it all out. Pretty red headband. This cat's a little devil like mine. So that was scarlet and black. There's like a little, can you see that? It's like a spot of glue or something on the page. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. I've got jelly rollers. Jelly roller. Jelly roll pen. And this is number 5. Ginger. Hi Trish, welcome. My name is Colour with Faithful Girl on Instagram. Oh, of course this one doesn't want to work. I've picked up one that's not working. Let me just grab another one. It's alright, I've got like 150 of them. Well, I thought I did. Try this one. Hello? Are you working? Is it me you're looking for? Let's line out our highlighted bits. Oh, let's use the bigger one here because this is a larger area. Just a couple of highlight spots there. And the edge of the pumpkin. Just going to put a couple on the top of the trident there. Trident. God, there's such a big difference between a trident and a pitchfork, I tell you. But you know what? I can't understand that right now. My brain's not comprehending it very well at all. Okay, this time I'm going to do these pumpkins. We're going to start from light to dark because I've just smudged it everywhere and it's kind of driving me nuts. So, just erasing this area a bit so that that orange doesn't go too dark. Actually, before we do the pumpkins, we should do the eyes because if I have to finish, we can finish because we already know how to do the pumpkins, really. So what did I do with the eyes? Let's do this eye first. I'm going to come around this little, I don't know what this is called, pupil? It's actually that iris, isn't it, that moves, but I've got yellow green and I'm just gonna do some like sharp hard lines out towards the edge, making it kind of look creepy weird. Night May, thank you for coming. Hi Joey, welcome. And I've got spring green to fill out the eye. It's pretty cool. Pretty creepy. Let's add a tiny little bit of yellow in that main section there around those, what are they called? Veins or lines, I don't know. Funny looking things in the eye there. And just blending it out again with that spring green. One creepy eye done. Bit of black in the middle there. Oh, let's go around it with black. Looks good. Let's use, I'm just going to sharpen my black a tiny little bit. Just want that to have a really sharp tip. Yeah, thank you. I'm thinking I might need to come in and around these edges a bit, but for now, using a really sharp pencil, I'm just going to come in and around this line. I don't know why, but I always break the very tip off. And I'm not even pushing that hard. But anyway. Very nice. A little bit of the burnt sienna on both sides, so just really lightly coming over and extending off each side of the line we just drew. And of course it just did it a little bit too dark then. Then I'm going to use vermilion around that again. Bit of flame red. Just filling in the eye. Oh, that sounded like thunder. It's a bit weird. There's no sun, there's no rain here. Sunshine, warm weather on its way. Might have been somebody moving the garbage bin. And some orange. Coming out to the very edges of the eye here. And then yellow to blend it all in. Hi, Lulu. You needed to sit down. Yeah, well, I always need to sit down. I'm just coming around the outside with black again. So this cut is wearing hypnotizing eye contact. I'm just coming out into the yellow a bit too. Just giving a little bit of shadow around the outside there as well. Okay, that's his eyes done. I'm going to put a little bit of gel pen. I don't know, a little bit of a triangle shape with dot. Looks like an exclamation point mark. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's like not sure. Alright, let's do orange. All over this pumpkin here. And all over this one. Sorry about the upside downs. So next week we'll finish off the path and we'll finish off the kitty and we'll be done. And we'll do our last giveaway. And to be honest, I don't know what's planned for next month. I'm not sure I'll be doing one. I will let you know. With a little bit of flame red. Just stopping short of the orange at the edge there. Got some black down the middle. Just extending out from there so it doesn't look like it's just a black line down the middle. We've got a bit of a shadow in there. I'm not sure which I'm not sure which I'm going to colour next. I've just got witches on my brain right now. I'm going to be dreaming about witches. Witches are doing it. Going around the shadow area, of course. And a bit of a shadow in that corner there. Got the burnt sienna. I'm going to go off and do that pumpkin image by Lisa Matrokin. I have to listen to how she says it. 2 actually this weekend and do colour lists for that Mariola Beauty image for patrons. I want this sort of back area to be quite dark because the moon's sort of facing down that way, so we're going to get a fair bit of depth in the back here. And at the bottom of our pumpkin. Looking messy, hey? Hi, Lisa. Yeah, I'm using Pablo's. This whole image was a Pablo one. But I did a colour conversion chart and a colour list for other brands as well. It is on Patreon and also in the Facebook group. So if you don't have Pablo's, that's okay too. Done a whole heap of other brands, and also I put up my Pablo swatch chart as well, so you can match your own colours, close as you can anyway, to whatever brand you're using. Okay, I'm going to add, I don't want to add vermilion this time. I think I might just go straight in with the flame red firm pressure and just leave the middle light sections now. No, we might need the vermilion, I think. Okay, let's try vermilion. Yeah, I don't know. A little bit in there. Back to flame red. Just flattening off the tooth now with those colours. Making sure that there's no white paper left in here. And of course back to orange. And we're done. Our pumpkins are done. Oh, that light's really bad. I'll scan it up, of course, but let's pop in some white gel pen again, just on these very edges. Show that they're hitting the light, or the light's hitting it. And then when we do the path, this will stand out a little bit more, of course. We'll probably just do some sort of grey path there. Done. Everything done. Well guys, I will catch you on Monday. Maybe we'll start doing some sort of witchy book. I don't know yet. Or colour a witch. Whatever. He's wearing contacts, Cece. Hi Cap, welcome. I got a bit of light reflection because the paper's really shiny. The black kind of looks a bit dull, but once I scan it, you'll be able to see that a bit better. Hi, Loretta. Thanks, guys. Yeah, he looks a bit worried, doesn't he? He's having a bit of a spooky. I always think about you, Loretta, when I break my pencils. I don't know why. Oh, thank you, Sadie. I haven't seen you for a while. Did you say hello earlier? I don't remember. I've been having lots of moments, you see. It's a senior thing. And you know what? I've lost my, Anyway. I have so much stuff to clean up, guys. You should see behind me. Like, I showed you my markers now in front of me and on my desk, but, whoa, it's a mess behind me. I got lots of tidying still to do, and it's going to take me a while, I think. It's going to take me a while. Makes me sad. Who wants to come and organize my stuff for me? I might even pay you. Alright. That's it. No problems. Oh, Jenny. We're just finishing up. The winner tonight was Bev, so she was very excited. And congratulations. And we'll finish off our kitty. We'll do a red cape and I don't know what colour cat we'll do. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we should do pink and purple, like, you know, the Cheshire Cat. I do. Mia, I need to hire an assistant. Alicia's pretty good. She's pretty good at being my secretary. She helps me out heaps. But I'm not going to have her forever. She's going to want to go and live her own life at some stage. He does look cool. He looks a little bit rough, actually, but that's alright. I can smooth him off with the colourless blender a little bit later. Get rid of some of those little white spots on there. It's amazing what this blender does, actually. It's pretty awesome. I think maybe we need to put a little bit of burnt sienna around there. Yeah, I think that would look good. Just making those grey lines not look grey. There'd probably be like a dark orange where the pumpkin's been cut, I would say. Maybe even a little bit of green in there, yeah, because of the skin. It's got a bit of green under it, but yeah. I think the burnt sienna would do well. Cheshire Cat. Yeah, pink and purple would look cool. Do you reckon? I reckon. Yeah, I know the feeling, Loretta. I've got so many witches to do. I'm dreaming about witches. Big thank you to Jenny. This is a beautiful image. It's really cute, and the giveaway image today was cute too, so congratulations to Bev. Have a great day, guys. Good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Enjoy. Thank you.